Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about forest thinning and why it can do more harm than good, despite what many believe. My point is that excessive or poorly planned thinning can damage ecosystems, harm wildlife, and fail to completely prevent wildlife loss. I'll explain what thinning is, explore its environmental consequences, address some common misconceptions, and propose more sustainable alternatives. What is forest thinning? Forest thinning involves mechanically removing trees or understory vegetation to reduce density. It is promoted as a tool for wildlife management or improving forest health. There are several types of thinning: selective or ecological thinning, which focuses on removing smaller unhealthy trees, and commercial thinning, which typically prioritizes timber production. While proponents claim these methods can increase forest resilience, their impacts are complex and not always beneficial. Proponents argue that thinning reduces wildfire risk. It promotes the growth of remaining trees. It is also promoted as a restoration tool and sometimes as a way to create economic value from timber. However, this narrative oversimplifies the dynamics of complex forest ecosystems. Poorly planned logging can actually increase long term fire risk, damage biodiversity, and impair ecosystem function. Thinning can have serious environmental consequences. Heavy machinery compacts soil and exacerbates erosion. Removing biomass reduces forest carbon storage, exacerbating climate change. Thinning also alters the water cycle and the microclimate, potentially negatively impacting tree regeneration and species adapted to dense forests. Another concern is wildlife. Thinning destroys habitats and can contribute to species extinction. Removing understory vegetation eliminates food sources and nesting sites for birds and small mammals. Threatened or sensitive species are particularly vulnerable. Even ecological thinning, if applied improperly, can reduce biodiversity rather than conserve it. Apologies. Many people believe that thinning can prevent catastrophic wildfires, but the reality is more complex. Research shows that thinning does not always reduce the severity of fires, especially when not followed by maintenance or planned burns. In some cases, commercial thinning can increase surface fuels or create more dangerous conditions. The effectiveness of thinning decreases over time, meaning it is not simple or a permanent solution. Sustainable alternatives. There are more sustainable forest management methods that don't require large scale thinning. Prescribed fires alone can reduce fuel loads while protecting ecosystem structure. Protecting old growth forests in high carbon areas helps maintain biodiversity and carbon storage. Passive ecological restoration, or selective, minimal interventions can restore forest resilience. Finally, landscape level planning is more effective in the long term than the short term tree felling. Counter argument and rebuttals. Some may argue that thinning is necessary for safety, or that carbon losses are acceptable if fires can be prevented. While safety is important, research shows that dense forests can often be managed without large scale thinning through monitoring, prescribed fires, and careful planning. While thinning can remove carbon, in many cases this loss may actually exceed the carbon saved by preventing fires. Therefore, these objections are not always supported by evidence. In summary, forest thinning, especially commercial or poorly planned thinning, possesses significant ecological risks. It harms soil, the water cycle, wildlife, biodiversity, and carbon storage. Alternatives such as planned fires, selective interventions, and rigorous monitoring offer safer and more sustainable pathways. Forest management policies should prioritize ecosystem integrity over short term wildlife mitigation measures.